Yeah, man! Welcome to the Frick Cast. Today, we're re-ranking Sudsy Bear Bars. I've tried and reviewed about half of the menu, and I figured it's time for a re-ranking of those bricks. If you want to know more about any of these bars, I do have individual guides of each that will go into much more depth. And if there's a particular brick that is not featured today, rest assured I will be covering it sometime in the future. Today though, I have 18 bars to re-rank and give my updated thoughts on. Now I have made one change to my tiers, and that is that I removed the bottom tier, the oh god, tier, and replaced it with another good tier, the Noice tier. And that is because I don't think Sudsy Bear has any bad bars. So these tiers will basically range from decent to amazing, but I'll explain each as we go. To start, we have the quite Aight tier. These are the lowest ranked bars, but I still think they're solid. They're not poorly made or anything like that, they just aren't exactly ones that I like too much. To kick things off, we have the charred cinnamon bark. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Squatch's Mars bar, but I feel the sudsy version of the red hot cinnamon flavor just doesn't quite reach the same heights. Again, it's not a bad bar. The spicy cinnamon scent is strong, just not always the most pleasant one out there. The heavy grit is definitely there as well, and I don't mind it, I just don't prefer it. And to already finish this tier, it's going to be the Hunt Camp. I know a lot of people like this OG flavor, but it's one that I kinda like less and less each time I use it or even smell it. The woodsy vanilla musk style of scent is a very appealing one. The birchwood breeze from Squatch is one that I like a lot. But in the case of the Hunt Camp, I just don't find it as particularly pleasant. Kinda reminds me of like a fragrance a grandparent would wear. Still though, it's not bad. And I do think it's one of the better exfoliating bars Sudsy offers. It has several different exfoliants within it, with different textures and roughness, making for a well-rounded medium grit. We're moving up to the Noice tier. These are again bars that don't necessarily do anything wrong, they're just quickly outshined by their peers in my opinion. The first is going to be the Grinch Rents, our first limited edition bar, and it's a Christmas one. Now despite being relatively low on our list, I like the Grinch Rents a lot to be honest. Its design feels a bit random, but I find it works surprisingly well. We're mainly talking a lime meets coffee type of scent, which may sound like an odd combo, but it's honestly very fresh and definitely unique. Now I've been critical of coffee grounds being used as grit in the past, but here I don't mind them that much, and that's because they're not spammed all over the place, making for just an obnoxious time. Instead, they're toned down to a more medium grit level. Just like the Grinch, you can't judge this bar by its appearance. Give it a chance, and you'll be surprised by how pleasant it is. And then there is another Christmas boy. It's the Scrooge Scrub. I think I'm lower than most on it, but I still have a lot of praise for it. Remember, this list is only about half of the bars offered, and I've mostly focused on trying the more popular bricks, so this list is going to be a bit skewed for now, as I'm ranking them all in the context of these current 18. Now the Scrooge Scrub is a very aggressive bar. It's bold with a heavy pumice grit and a cinnamon meets pine scent, but you're talking a very natural pine and cinnamon scent. So it's not very sweet, it's got spice to it, but not in a candy, red hot type of way. Mixed with the pine and it makes for a pretty manly scent. The grit won't be for everyone, but for those who do like a heavier exfoliation, it's a good option. This bar is like a fine single malt scotch. It's more of an acquired taste. The flavor is certainly there, but it's not going to be for everyone. We're again moving up a tier to this Bricc Be Bussin tier. These bars I feel are still quickly outshined by others, but compared to the ones we've discussed, they appeal much more to everyday use. The Old Forest Pine Tar is your traditional pine tar bar, and probably one of the better ones out there to be honest. It's a very reliable, consistent brick with a lot to offer. It's of course that classic pine tar scent as well, a very clean, fresh, pine type of smell. The bar is also one of the deeper cleaning ones you'll find. It has actual pine tar in it, and a good amount of grit. I think the balance of pumice and oatmeal is nice here. It's not too much, but still gives it a heavier grit. You can never really go wrong with the Old Forest Pine Tar. You can also never really go wrong with the Fresh Clean Aloe. It's another deep cleaning bar, this time with added aloe vera for extra moisturizing properties. It's more of a soothing brick, no grit, so it's much more gentle and hydrating. The scent is a classic springtime one, sort of like a rainy morning. I would probably have it ranked higher, if not for another similar brick we'll talk about in a bit. And to finish this tier is the Fright Night, a Halloween boy. I really do like the whole aesthetic of this bar. It's very Scooby-Doo-esque with the colors and the whole vibe. The bar overall is very solid, and that includes the scent, sort of a sour citrus vanilla smell. It works well for the most part, but I do think it works better in deodorant form. In soap form though, it just doesn't quite stack up to its spooky counterparts. We've moved up another tier to the rather nifty tier. These are bars that are great, very unique, and they're really just on the verge of being truly spectacular, but not quite there. And that basically describes the raspberries and cream. To me, it's kinda the lesser version of its blueberry counterpart, but it's still a very good bar in its own right. Deeply moisturizing, feels great to use with all the goat's milk and cream, and smells great as well. We're mainly talking a raspberry scent, somewhat sour, fruity, and creamy. Another well-made brick. Then we have the Twisted Mango. Sudsy really excels when it comes to fruity bars. They do the scents very well and make some of the most deep cleaning, moisturizing bricks out there. I love mango in general, and the Twisted Mango is no exception, as it's mainly a mango smell. Really just don't have anything bad to say about it, even if I am trying to be nitpicky. Next is the Barbershop, Sudsy's take on the classic flavor. I'm not quite sure how to describe the scent, but it does capture that barbershop vibe. It's relaxing, it's fresh, it's manly, just great all around, like an old-fashioned shaving cream. The silky lather also adds to the chill vibe this brick has. This is one that may move up the rankings next time. Alright, hear me out. I love the old St. Nick, everyone does. But there's a reason some other bars have slightly edged it out, and that's because of another bar we'll talk about here soon. But the old St. Nick really just does everything. Feels great to use and smells incredible. A woodsy peppermint tobacco scent, just beautiful. It has some chill to it, but also some coziness. It's definitely the best of the Christmas trio, and there's a good reason it's a fan favorite. We've moved up a tier once more to our penultimate tier, the Something Else Entirely tier. These are amazing bricks. They do absolutely nothing wrong and are just on the verge of godhood. The reason they aren't is because I didn't want to make the God tier have like half the list, so tough decisions had to be made. Our first bar in this tier is the Old Glory. I love the Old Glory. There's just something about it that really works. It just has that old country store vibe, but it's also so fresh and relaxing. It has strong notes of strawberry, which fit well with the American 4th of July theme. It's a pretty potent scent as well, which is a nice touch, and it has a nice amount of grit as well. Definitely one of the better ones of its kind. Next is the Arctic Aloe. This is a stacked brick ingredients-wise, and an overall improvement on the Fresh Clean Aloe. It still has the aloe, and still has the rainy spring morning scent, but now it has goat's milk for added moisturizing, and of course, menthol crystals. They aren't as strong here as I would like, but they are a nice, icy touch, and it all combines for one of the best cleaning and feeling bricks on the menu, especially if you have irritated skin or something like that. And to finish off this demigod tier is the Ghostly Ale, another Halloween boy and another fruity bar. This is a cinnamon apple brick, and the scent is so fresh and appetizing, perfectly capturing the spirit of fall. It's hard to find a more crisp, refreshing scent, and one that always makes you want to bite into the brick. It also feels great to use. It has a nice amount of grit and cleans pretty deep. If apple is your thing, then this is your bar. And now we've reached the top, the might be some sort of god tier. These are perfect bricks, even more so than the ones we just discussed. And to kick off the remaining 4 legends is the Old St. Nick on Vacation. This is the reason I have the normal Old St. Nick a bit low. The Vacation counterpart, more of a summer variant, is basically the exact same, but has the nifty inclusion of menthol crystals, which is really the only thing I felt slightly held the classic bar back. The menthol here isn't crazy, I'd actually prefer more to be honest, but I do feel it elevates the Old St. Nick flavor to another level. It was love at first sight with the Gettin' Lucky, the Valentine's Day Limited. This bar is incredibly well made. I'm not a huge fan of chocolate and soap, but when it's done right, it can be a nice inclusion, and it's definitely done right in the Gettin' Lucky, especially when paired with the strawberries, resulting in a delicious chocolate-covered strawberry scent. Goat's milk, pulverized strawberries, lang lang, this boy has it all. Next is another classic in my opinion. It's the Twisted Pumpkin, the last of the Halloween trio. This bar is just thick and heavy, a pumpkin pie, pumpkin butter scent with a touch of fall spice and bourbon to go with a thick-ass lather, courtesy of pumpkin butter. The pumpkin is very strong here, which you may or may not care for, but personally, I love it, and I think the Twisted Pumpkin is perhaps the best Halloween bar I've used. And finally, the #1 brick is of course the Blueberries and Cream. Pretty sure this is Sudsy's most beloved bar from customers, and I can't disagree with them. All of the company's best talents are put on display here. A potent, fruity scent, this time delicious blueberry, and a moisturizing, thick lather, courtesy of the Goat's Milk and Cream. It's very similar to its raspberry counterpart, as it contains real fruit, but the blueberry makes for a much more powerful scent, and a better one overall in my opinion too. It's somewhat sour, the cream isn't so strong here, but what you get is a refreshing, appetizing smell that pairs well with one of the deepest cleaning bars you'll find, all resulting in perhaps the best brick I've ever used. Well, at least top 3 I'd say. And there you have it, mains. Some Sudsy Bear bars, re-ranked. Let me know what you think of my list, and feel free to let me know how you would rank these bars. As always, Frick Nation, stay nifty. Yeah, man!